when it comes to consent, anything other than a yes is no consent. A maybe, no, someone's sleeping, someone unconscious. It should be as simple as, do you want to do this? And the story that I like to use is, if I ask someone to borrow their vehicle and they say no, I don't have consent to use their vehicle. It's that easy. If they're not there, I can't just go take their vehicle. That's stealing. If they say, maybe, let me think about it, that means that I can't go over there and take that vehicle until I have that yes, sure, let's go. Just because they allow me to use that vehicle once doesn't mean that I can go back and take it again without their consent again. It should be that cut and dry and that simple.
When I train on consent, I think it's important to mention a couple things. Consent is freely given. It's also freely taken away. So I may want to participate in a certain act, but I may not want to participate in another act. And so the minute I say no, it's no. It's not, I'm playing hard to get, try to pursue this a little more, maybe, throw in some intimidation or guilty feelings. No. Absolutely not. No is no, and that's when it needs to stop.
Consent is going to be the mutual agreement between everybody in your party. Everybody that's involved in your activity that you're doing, they have to have mutual agreement that they all want to do this. So that includes before the activity starts, during, you're asking questions to make sure everybody still feels the same way. And after, you can ask also, because you don't want it to be regret sex, right? So this is going to be something that nobody feels pressured into doing. You don't want to pressure someone into having sex with you.
Consent should always be a happy, healthy, yes! Woo! Let's do this. Okay? Consent should be happy and healthy. And in order for us to have consent, we have to feel that. We have to be participating. We have to be reciprocating. We have to be coherent and have the knowledge and understanding. What does this look like? What am I getting myself into? Am I wanting to do this? Is there a yes? Is there both participating? If there's not, if one person's not participating, it could be frozen fear. It could be traumatic. There's so many things that could be involved in that. And so if they're not responding, that doesn't mean you have consent.
So one of my favorite things to deal with when I'm training is consent and the concept of enthusiastic consent. Like not just, kind of being there, but like participating. Yes, absolutely, let's do that. I definitely want you to kiss me, right? The idea of silence being consent, that's not true. Compliance is not consent. Obviously, fear is not consent, but it's having those discussions so that our men and women in arms understand what not just consent looks like, but what healthy sexual relationships and romantic relationships look like and are supposed to look like.
Just because you're in a relationship with somebody does not mean you have consent every time you have sex, or that it gives you consent for going past what you've already done.
Additionally, with consent, we need to know of mind and sound body, and we need to be of age, right? Age is a very complicated matter because we have an age per the UCMJ, we have ages per states. Lots of states have different ages. Lots of countries have different ages. So it's imperative that we know the individual. How well do we know them, right? If we don't know their triggers, we don't know what they're like, we don't know more about them, and that might be an opportunity to stop and say, hey, maybe we need to wait. Let me get to know you a little bit more and then see where this goes. When I look at consent, I also like to look at asking, right? How hard is it to really just ask? Do you want to participate in X, Y, and Z, and have the person respond back? And I have a lot of people say, oh, that's such a mood killer. Well, I'm going to caveat that with, do you want a mood killer or career killer? Because that's what can happen. And not only that, think of all the damage and the traumatic events that have occurred for all the people involved in that scenario. And it's so detrimental to those individuals that are involved. So for me, consent is key in everything that we do when it comes to sexual assault. Without consent, Without consent, you have a sexual assault. Bottom line.